everybody. This is Stephanie Shields. I am back here with another episode of Behind the Light. I finally gave this thing a name. So really what it comes down to is when I talk about behind the light, an electrologist is always behind the light, and it's being shown on our patient, because we are here to make sure that you are getting the success you need. Today, I have Gina here with me, and we are going to talk about, one, how did she find us? We're going to talk about the little things that we talk about, like what, walking into our office made her feel most confident, most comfortable, and where we're going from there. So Gina, take a moment, introduce yourself. Let's talk about you a little bit.
Okay. Hi, I'm Gina. I just moved to Phoenix 2 years ago, and that's basically when I began my transition. It was friends who led me to Senza, because I had disappointing, I'll say, consultations in other places that told me there was no hope for me. I just couldn't give up on it. So thank goodness for my friends.
Yeah, friendships, I'll tell you right now, I mean, word of mouth gets us so far in life, and it is always beneficial to have our friends there with us, directing us and guiding us to people that they have had success with. So that's awesome. And I know you're not my patient,
No.
but you are a patient of Senza Pelo. You see primarily, I believe, Vanessa, correct?
That is correct.
That is correct. And then have you just been working with hair removal so far?
I'm sorry, have I been working with whom?
Just your hair removal so far?
Yes, just hair removal so far, but I have other things that I'm interested in. I just haven't gotten there.
No. The one thing at a time, one step at a time.
One step at a time, absolutely.
So when you came to us and you started talking to Vanessa, in your initial consultation, what was your main area of focus? What was the thing that was going, okay, this is stopping me from moving forward in transition, and this is where I can go to?
Well, I think that with all transgender people, that one of the, especially male to female, I believe that we worry about the beard shadow and how hard it is to cover with makeup. And so that was my main focus, was I wanted to get rid of the beard hair or facial hair so that I didn't have to look like I was wearing a ton of makeup. I just wanted to be able to look completely natural. And so the initial consultation, I went in with fully expecting to hear the same thing that I had heard at previous places. And I didn't hear that. What I heard was, oh yeah, we can help you. And actually, she has done remarkable work. I am so happy with it.
When I look at you walking through the hallways, I definitely see that she is doing a stellar job on you.
Yes, she is.
It's my understanding that you are full-time meaning you no longer kind of live between two areas in life. Is that correct?
No, it's not correct. I am, well, let me backtrack slightly. 2 years ago, I got to be Gina part-time occasionally.
Okay.
Since I've moved to Phoenix, I'm down to only happening to be in my other life for 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday. So
gotcha. When you punch the clock.
When I punch the clock, yes, I'm unfortunately still working as my other half.
Okay.
But that is going to change. That is that's basically the next step. I plan to ultimately replace my job and move forward to where I no longer have to get depressed one day a week in order to start my week. So
yeah,
it's a big step. It's a hard step, but you have to take that step.
You really do. I mean, living authentically is incredibly important for every person out there. Does not matter if they're transgender or not. It's what drives us as individuals. And so, well, even though it's just during the time that you're punching the clock, it's not getting to be your authentic self 40 hours a week. It's too much.
It is. It's hard. In fact, I have noticed that there are times where one person is carrying over into the other person a lot more. And so I think that's the part that I hate is that it's the fact that you still kind of live in a shadow, and I don't want to live in a shadow. I don't want to be, or I don't want to have to worry about, can I say this? Can I say that? Can I do this? Because it might lead to something else. So when I moved here, I came out basically to myself and some friends. I didn't have any fear because nobody knew me. I mean, that's something that I was fortunate to have just by changing locations. And so, but that fear has done remarkable things for me because I haven't limited myself on where it is that I can go. I live life every day as the person that I want to be. And it's worked out so well.
That's awesome. That is such a special feeling to have. For lack of a better way to describe it, I mean, at the end of the day, like having that freedom to just express who you are is amazing.
Yes, it is. I mean, it is. It's like recently I've been telling my friends that I said, up until a couple of years ago, I felt like I was living or existing in life. Mm-hmm. Now I feel like I'm living. Just because I am who I am. People say, why are you so happy? And I'm happy because I'm finally being able to no longer hide. I'm completely at home and at ease with who I am. And so that's what makes me so happy.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that part of you, because it's raw. It's perfect. It's what people need to hear. Going back to why we decided to talk today, do you find as though the further you get along in your treatments, in your presentation, in your setting up of life, do you feel as though it's kind of like putting gas in the tank? It's getting you a little bit further, and you're just waiting for like to punch the gas and take off kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, there are so many things that are available in the, I hate to say vain people, but I mean, every woman wants to look their best. And so, yes, putting gas in the tank is, I can go from one thing. I'm thinking about, okay, so when this is done, where do I go next? Well, so yes, there are a lot of things that I'm planning for. But yeah, gas in the tank is a good way to put it. So
you just got to hit the accelerator and go.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I already feel like I'm in warp speed. So but that's good.
Welcome to transition.
Welcome to transition.
We throw you into the deep end.
Yeah.
So, well, now, right where you're at in your Senza Pelo story,
yes,
you've been coming to us just about a year.
I think so. Yeah.
Right about that time. Mm-hmm. Are you toggling back and forth between electrolysis and laser, or are you kind of sticking to one or over the other?
Let's see. I guess it was 2 visits ago. I was doing electrolysis. I had moved from laser to electrolysis, and I was doing the numbing shots. And Stephanie had asked if I had ever experienced electrolysis without the numbing. And I said, no, I didn't. And so she just randomly picked a few spots and zapped me, if you will, just to see if it was tolerable for me. And I was like, are you actually doing it? And she said, yes. And I'm like, okay, well, so that's not bad. So she changed up what we were doing, which was after that visit, she gave me a laser treatment. And then now when I go back, there's no numbing shots, and we work for the entire amount of time that I arrange with her doing the electrolysis only. And it's, like I said, there is substantial amount of difference. I would have to say that probably about the worst time that I enjoy is the preparing for a visit. So
The grow out.
yeah, the grow out. Okay, put it that way. Yes, the grow out. I hate that point in time.
You know what? Even people that have been getting electrolysis for years and years, when that one hair peeks through, right?
I know
And it's in the new zone and it's just sitting there, it'll drive you crazy.
That's right.
So,
But
I
yeah.
mean, that growing out, and you probably grow out about 3 to 4 days prior to kind of start the process, or are you guys doing a little bit less time?
No, actually, I need that extra time. That's how much all of my treatments have really affected it. Like for example, if I were to have a treatment set up for this coming week, today would probably be the last day that I would stop doing one thing and start to grow out.
Okay.
So yeah, I can, at this point in time, I used to, let's see, it was at least 2 days before I would have to shave. Or no, I'm sorry. I had to shave regularly in order to get rid of the facial hair. But now I'm at probably 2 days without. So that, to me,
That's fantastic.
that is huge. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so great. Yeah, it's just so wonderful. And the
You
shadows
know,
are, yeah,
that
shadows are gone.
shadowing
Yeah, no,
around the,
shadows are gone. In fact, I can, a lot of times I can go with just a BB or CC cream. I don't need a full coverage foundation. So
nice.
in 1 year's time, the treatments at Senza have changed that immensely. So, I mean, I know that I have probably lighter colored natural hair, which was another thing that the reason why I expected to be told that they couldn't help, because my natural color of hair is mostly blondes and reds. And it's not true. I mean, there is help out there. You have to get to the right place.
Yeah, you got to get that. It really comes down to like having a consultation that is comprehensive in technology. I mean,
Yes.
when I look at you and not being your technician, I'm so sorry. I don't know if that's messing up the screen or not, but
No.
when not being your technician, and when I look at you, I look at someone and go, okay, if I see any shadowing there, I can at least break it down and slow it down utilizing the laser. Okay. That way, that grow out phase isn't as bad. And there's really two ways that you'll see a slowing in growth. One, and this is for anybody watching this, one is hormone replacement therapy and one is treatment. Okay. Those two things significantly slow down the growing out phase. So if someone's coming to us pre-transition, early transition, and they have not started hormone replacement therapy, they have not done any laser treatments, they're going to see a constant daily shave, and you're going to see that shadowing consistent. But once you start one of those two things, whether it be hormone replacement therapy or utilizing laser to reduce and stunt the growth, what you will then find is that taking that timeline of, say, for example, telling someone 3 years to get through the process, taking that timeline and shrinking it down because you're able to slow down the rate at which the hairs grow in, helps in the sense of you now see that you can go a couple days without seeing shadow. You can go a couple days without feeling substantial stubble. And that's the goal. And our goal is to continue that forward movement as you get through this so that you can walk through your electrolysis journey and your laser journey going, okay, I was down to not having to shave daily. I was down to not having to shave weekly, then monthly. And it just expands from there.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because when I started, I was not on hormone replacement treatment or therapy, but I now am. And so in the beginning, I did see an immediate result. In fact, I used to want to, I didn't, or I should say I disliked the fact that I could only go once a month for the laser treatments, because it was the feeling afterwards and how the amount of changes that I had, I just loved it. It was like, oh, can I go every day? Because it really made a big difference. But I really like it. So, but
That's great.
yeah,
And that's the whole, I mean, it's just feeling a little bit better about yourself each day that you're going through this process.
it
So
is. It really is. I mean, you have, and I tell my friends, you have to have a positive outlook. If this isn't what's making you happy, find what's making you happy. And
yeah.
I am so glad that I listened. As I said, some of my friends who were previous patients, they've now finished their treatment. They've moved on. But if they hadn't have told me, I don't know if I would have found Senza, because I was ready to give up. And I'm so glad that I kept asking questions. My friends asked me if I was doing electrolysis, and I was like, no, I've been told it doesn't work. And I said, oh, no, you need to go see somebody. They referred me to your mom.
Okay.
But, and eventually I looked up Senza online, and I made a consultation appointment, and I went in, and I am so glad that they were so forceful in trying to get me to Senza. So happy.
I mean, we have mutual friends that we've been able to kind of talk to throughout this. And sometimes people are so nervous to make that next step. It literally, you become your own stick in the mud, and like that mud
Yes.
starts to become just solid.
Yes,
And
it is.
sometimes you have to come in there and have someone rough it up a bit, because you got to know, that
I would agree with that. Yeah, you need, it really is, it is so great for me that I have stumbled into this great group of advocates, and everyone at Senza is part of that group. They are huge and strong supporters, and it really does help. If you're out there all alone, I can understand it. You need an advocate on your side, and Senza is one of those places you can find that.
Thank you so much. I mean, truly, my whole life is being around the community. It's been one of those things that I know that other places don't know advocacy because they haven't lived it, right? And it's not
Right.
because they don't want to. It just hasn't been part of their everyday.
Yes.
And every clinic can have advocates within them. Every place that serves the community can be a champion for the community. It's just a matter of teaching, and
Yes.
teaching people to understand that we need voices in the community that can get a little bit loud, project a little bit, and say, okay, these are our needs that we have to have met, and then go from there. So
That's right. It is. And like I say, I've had the pleasure of meeting, I think, most of the staff there, and they are so wonderful. And to me, it was, I worried a great deal when I first started there, but the acceptance and the advocacy that goes on underneath of that roof, it is just so fabulous. It really is. You can go in having a bad day, and you can come out feeling like a whole new woman. So it's great.
that's awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for telling me that.
Oh,
Because
you're
it's
welcome.
one thing.
You're welcome.
It's one thing to tell your friends, but it's another thing for us to be able to hear it as well. Because at the end of the day, I want to know that we're making someone's day better.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You all are.
That's awesome. Well, I don't want to keep you on here forever and a day, because I know that you and I could just gab it up. But
yeah, we probably can.
I know. Anybody listening, that if whatever you haven't covered already, anybody listening, if there is a woman out there or a trans man out there needing to hear something from you, what would you like to say? I mean, I know that every transitional story is different, but do you have some little tidbit you'd like to share?
you have to listen to your heart. You have to be who makes you feel the best in your life. I just told some people this morning. You have to be happy in your life. You have to be willing to take that giant leap in order to make yourself happy. Things will work out. They're not as bad as what I think everyone fears. And just be yourself, love yourself. That's what's important. And that goes for anyone, not necessarily transgender people, but anyone. Just love yourself, be who you are.
Absolutely. From Gina herself. Oh, thank you so much. Hey, being new to the Valley, this is my last little bit. Is there any transgender groups that you'd recommend? Is there any other like little bits of information out there that you might want to plug here?
Yes, I would have to throw out the first group that I ever joined. It was through the Meetup app, and that was Arizona Transgender. It's where I have met a huge amount of supporting people. There is also another group, which they more or less kind of interchange. But the other one is AZT Girls.
Mm-hmm.
But Arizona Transgender, I would have to say, is probably the better number one group of that. Each one is unique in its own way, but Arizona Transgender has a great place in my heart. And I think you know why too.
Yeah. The funny thing is that group almost had like just disappeared, and my mom my mom being the person she is, she was like, I gotta make sure everybody's got a group still.
Yes, so. And that's what I was referring to. Is I know your mom leads up the group, and what not a better person to lead up the group than your mom. So
the little social butterfly that she is.
Yes.
38 years of that social.
I know that is, and actually it goes back further. I had the pleasure of having breakfast with your mom not too long ago, and she shared more about her background as she was growing up. And so I think it's more than 38. I'm not going to give away her age, but it's more than 38 years.
We'll let her give away her age. I keep telling her to come on these videos, and she's like, no, you do them. But we're going to get her on here, and we're going to do an interview with Maria, the founder of Senza Pelo, so that people can get a little history on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it would be great.
That would be great, right?
Yeah, it would be good. Yeah, it would be good.
Peer pressure, because she watches every one of these videos at night before she goes to bed. She pops them onto her big old screen TV and watches our interviews.
Oh, well, that's great.
Right?
Yes, that's very good.
All right, my dear. Well, thank you. Thank you for you. Thank you for being willing to do these videos. I know that this is vulnerable. So the YouTube thanks you. The world thanks you. I thank you.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see you blossom more.
Thank you. And I can't wait myself.
Yay. All right, sweetie. Have a wonderful day. Everybody drop a comment, like, subscribe, notifications, all that great stuff. We'll see you next time on Behind the Light.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.